Welcome to the Relationship Goals podcast. It is I, brother BJ.
And it is I, sister Melly.
This is episode Julio Jones. And then for your non-sports people, episode 11.
Yeah, we need a clarification on that.
Yeah, 11. 11 from Stranger Things. Episode 11. Let's go. Let's get after it.
My voice might sound a little different. We just came back from a cruise and I was screaming a lot. There's no other way to put it.
Note to self, if you want someone to hella cheer for you, you got to have Melly on your team. Because, she's a one-man cheering squad. Like,
I wasn't the only one cheering.
If she's your friend, you can hear her, shout you out anywhere, whether it be like at a graduation, on the cruise, or like at a party or something. It's very noticeable.
We can get into the cruise next week.
We'll save it for next week,
Yeah, because this week is recruitment.
Rush week.
Or intake week, whatever you want to call it, in college. And that is when Greek organizations, try to recruit new members to join their organization.
For me and Melly, it was like one of our things that really kickstarted this semester.
It was my favorite time of the year, especially in the fall, because it's just so hype. No offense to my spring classes, but fall classes do have a little...
And the shade. All classes are equal.
But recruitment is just so fun. I was recruitment chair for a semester too, and it's just such a fun position with all the events and meeting new people.
Yeah, like the events that we would throw would be a lot of sports related ones, so those are always fun, playing football. And then we always got the games, we're known for being excellent at board games, so we always had that down. Just fun things, man. A lot of variety. Good times.
And it's a good overview of what we do as a Greek organization throughout the year, condensed into 2 weeks of events.
Yeah, it's cool too because we usually do our formals around that time too. So it was cool because we'd have like a party to celebrate the previous, people who did rush and joined the fraternity, and people get to see that like party side of us.
So how did you find your fraternity?
All right, guys, it's gonna be a long one, so take a seat. Actually, I'm just joking. It wasn't that long. So I'm part of our alpha class. So I don't want to go into too details, but I was like the first recruitment class for my fraternity at UNLV.
Ooh.
Yeah. Shout out to the alphas. But the charters, who are the original members of our chapter, like I said, I don't want to go too crazy with the Greek terminology, but I knew a lot of them. So it was kind of like, it was meant to be. I was kind of like their 5-star recruit, shout out to my charters. They needed your boy out there. Wide receiver, quarterback, defensive end.
So you already knew everyone, and
yeah. Like, so I was for sure going to be a part of them.
Wow, cocky, are ya?
Feeling was mutual.
As for me, I was just a freshman. I didn't know anybody, and I had no idea what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to do something. My sister actually nudged me to join a sorority, and I didn't think it really was for me when I was looking at it. But I was also looking at Panhellenic sororities, and I wasn't aware of the multicultural sororities, which we have an Asian interest one at UNLV. And I was going to join a different Asian group, but it also didn't really appeal to me. And I came across my organization through social media. I saw like a flyer about recruitment and going to these events. I reached out and I asked some questions to the person who was in charge of the social media. And she told me to visit the table to meet the girls, and that's what I did. I went to school the next day. I didn't even have class. I was a 2-day class on campus girl, and I went there just to meet them. I went to the table, introduced myself. They were answering my questions and telling me about the events, and I already missed a few events, so I had to, go to the rest of them. But the first one I went to was a fundraising party, and I brought my best friend with me. But then other than that, I went to the events by myself. But then I really feel like I belonged, and I liked the events. I liked the girls. I met all these people, and I'm also like an early class. I'm a gamma class. The sorority was only like a year old at this point at UNLV, and my class was the first class that recruited freshmen. So I was lucky to be part of that.
Me and Melly are old heads, OGs on the block.
Yeah, BJ and I pledged the same semester. All 2011. Shout out to ya.
2K11. Legendary recruiting class. Hall of Famers across the board.
And still are very good friends till this day. But that's how me and BJ also met, first 2 weeks of pledging or so. We're pledge brothers and sisters.
Yeah, so recruitment is super fun, especially when you've had some time already in the fraternity because it's like 2 weeks of just chilling with your boys. Yeah, you got that fresh drip. Our colors were navy and gold, so some combinations of those colors, or just in general, like I like our letters, kind of how our Greek letters look like, and then the positioning of everything. So just fun hanging out, trying to meet like-minded people and tell them about a fraternity. Catching up with people because sometimes if it was going into fall semester, I wouldn't see people for the whole summer. So catching up with them, especially like the newer class, it was cool hanging out with them because they're super excited to be there, helping us with recruitment. So really fun times. I enjoyed it a lot. It was definitely something I look forward to every year, pretty much, or every semester.
Yeah, I still get excited seeing the recruitment stuff that the sorority posts because the themes are so fun.
Oh yeah, some themes are pretty cool. I was like, damn.
I love seeing the themes that every school comes up with because they're just so creative. It's
Yeah,
so cute.
we had some pretty dope recruitment videos too. We went hard in the paint with some of them. Like it's just so fun. Like you're literally just hanging out with your friends, trying to pitch your fraternity and sorority to people and trying to get people who are like-minded, cool. Damn, it's like if you like sports, you're trying to get 5 stars. You're trying to get them 5-star recruits to your organization so we can dominate in like football and basketball. We were good at basketball. Like football, we were pretty good too. We had some good seasons, but yeah, it's a good thing there was no TikTok or anything like that.
Oh my God, thank God there was no TikTok because I'm looking at like TikTok videos on my For You page about
Greek life.
They're promoting their sorority.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's usually just sororities, and they're doing all these dances and music videos. And okay, I love that. But if we had to do that for the sorority, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe too much.
So thank God we didn't have TikTok.
Favorite recruitment event or type of go, and why it's awesome. Go.
So this is the last night that we have. It's called prep night, and it's a requirement for our recruitment. And it's basically like a sisterhood night in where we go to someone's house usually and we, potluck food. We have deeper conversations with them. And it's just like a very like nice connecting night. I don't know. I love the games that we play that night too. I'm not telling because it's not your business. You got to go to it to find out. I don't even know if they still do the same things anymore, but it's such a fun night and it's a very intimate night. Yours?
Mine is anytime we do a field day.
Of course.
I love sports. I'm an athlete. I'm always going to be an athlete, stay an athlete. So sometimes when we do these field days, especially when we play like flag football, I just see the athleticism and potential new members. And it's a good way to see like their competitiveness, how much like teamwork you can see, especially when we have them like play us, together. And sometimes you just do sports so you can see the dog in them. So why don't we like talk about how we can help people listening to this find the right org for them? Like you kind of like mentioned it with your story, so why don't we just continue from there?
Yeah, Greek life is not for everyone. A lot of people look at it and don't think the best of it because they think what they know in movies.
That was definitely me when I was back on Guam because I don't think we have any Greek life like at the University of Guam. I could be wrong, but not that I know of. So coming to the States, that was definitely something that was on my mind just because you see it in movies like Melly was saying, or just in general, like TV shows. And not gonna lie, at first, before I actually did cross and have letters, I always thought wearing letters was kind of cool just because I was an athlete on Guam and I never had a Letterman jacket, so I never could rep that at school, even though the school I went to, the basketball players did. So I was kind of jealous. So that was something that was also another superficial goal of mine was to rock letters because I thought it was cool. I'm not gonna lie, like I said, not gonna lie. But yeah, so being able to really comprehend and understand what Greek life is and what can it be for you is definitely important to focus on.
So there's different Greek councils, and within those Greek councils, the different organizations. So you really have to just look up and research and see which organization you're interested in at first, because you're going to have to go through whichever recruitment process that Greek council offers.
Yeah, you can look up like because every university has a different amount of Greek organizations too. So obviously we're talking about UNLV. So if you're listening to us and you know someone that's going to another school, they could have even more, like especially at bigger schools, there's more councils and more Greek organizations too. So kind of like just being able to research that gives you a good head start.
Yeah, and researching it before the semester even starts because this stuff happens like once school gets in session.
Yeah, it happens really fast. Plus, now with the advent of social media, most Greek orgs at every school have their own social media accounts. So even just utilizing that to study it, and we, like I know Melly was doing that for her sorority, and we post things on our fraternities, websites, and things like that. So that's another way to kind of get a head start with recruitment.
Yeah, so just looking at the organization's website, seeing what they're about, what they stand for, the kind of events they do, what philanthropy they support. So yeah, you really just gotta like figure out if from the outside you have to see which ones you're interested in so you can like, scope them out in person. And when you scope them out in person, that's when you meet the people who are part of the organization and you ask the questions you want to know about and see, is this right for me? Like, do I vibe with these people? Do I think I belong with them?
Being in recruitment, kind of when I was already a part of the fraternity, I remember I would get asked kind of mostly like simple questions. When I would talk to people like, "Oh, what sports team do you like? Oh, do you like anime? You look like you go to the gym, like going to the gym." But I did have some people ask me about other questions, kind of like in that sense, what vibe kind of does the fraternity give, or like deeper questions. So it was cool being like, I never asked those questions, like I said, because I knew everyone in my fraternity, like the initial members, or I knew most of them, so I kind of already did vibe with them. But being on the other side, talking to newer people, it's cool. Seeing how they like the questions they ask, but also just kind of being able to talk to them and kind of like almost like force the questions out, like, hey, this and that.
Yeah, because not only are we trying to see if you're a good fit for us, you're trying to see if they're a good fit for you because it works both ways. Like, you don't want to join something that you're not going to be all in for because it is a commitment, especially your pledging semester. It is a commitment to be part of. It's basically like taking another class on your schedule.
Yep, 100% agreed. It's definitely a commitment and something you have to really put some time and effort into.
But it's 1,000% worth it, in my opinion,
It's like a
because
million percent worth it.
okay. Because it is life changing and I could go on about Greek life for hours and hours. Greek life obviously made a big impact in our lives and we held a lot of leadership positions. We did a lot of networking, fun events and memories that we had throughout our college life and we made lifelong friendships out of it.
Yeah, definitely the ability to meet such great people and still have them in your life is super important, especially in college, because I feel like that's when you really maturate. And if you go to college, like I said, college isn't for everyone, but if you do go to college, the people you meet there really have a true impact in your life, because that's when you are transitioning from an adolescent, high schooler to like a fully fledged adult before you actually enter the real world. So these friends that we've had have helped us so much with just a lot of things. And it's just good to have these kind of types of friends, these close knit friends that are always there for you. You're always there for them. A lot of them now are like having kids, so seeing them start their families, it's awesome, really joyful. And then for me, one of the things that I liked a lot was being able to be put in leadership positions, because all those moments, all those things that I did for my leadership positions have really helped me, fine tune these aspects and have a lot of reps and things that I was able to practice prior to entering like the real like workforce. And then now I can utilize a lot of those in my workspace right now.
Yeah, looking back at my college experience, I don't think it would have been exciting at all if I didn't join my organization. I mean, I also had the other organizations I was in, but they were, catered to my major. They were more like, it felt like work, like an internship. It wasn't like, something fun and hanging out with your friends type of thing.
So when you cross, you get your letters. And I remember when I first got mine, just a little like story from that. You feel really proud. You feel all the hard work that you put into being this organization. And then to me, I also felt the potential of my organization being able to be a role model to future kids who are, coming up and going to college, joining UNLV, and then joining our fraternity. And I still try to do my best to keep in contact with them. Being able to be that kuya, big brother in Tagalog figure to these people was something that's very fulfilling for myself.
Like a lot of people think that like joining a sorority and fraternity is like buying your friends, but it's really not. You're paying dues like you're paying another organization. Like you have to have these things for like events and whatnot. It's just like paying your dues. And if you find the right org for you, then it doesn't feel like that at all. And I know there's like horror stories online with certain Greek organizations. They're hazing or their chairs are really strict. They tell you what to wear, what to do. They scold you for doing something and posting it on social media. Like that does happen. Like, I'm not gonna lie. You just got to do your research and you just got to know what organization you want to be part of. But most importantly, they ask what sisterhood and brotherhood means to us. And me and PJ were very involved in our Greek organizations. We were pretty much active the whole time. We both picked up 2 littles. We both pledged a class. We both held leadership positions.
But only one of us was president. That was Melly.
You were vice president, but so was I. No, I'm just kidding. And again, like we said in our last episode, Greek life isn't for everyone. We get it. It's fine.
In reality, kind of what we said for Greek life, like what Melly said or what I said about not doing the research, you can do that for any organization. You should do that for whatever organization you want to join in at a college you're going to. It makes it easier because, that fit is, obviously, unless it's really for your major and you kind of have no choice. Like if it's like if you're an aspiring doctor and you only have one organization for doctors, then yeah, you're kind of SOL. But yeah, do your research, apply what we said to anything for your organizations because it'll help you out.
But we recommend Greek life, 10 out of 10. And if you guys don't believe us, we're literally talking about Greek life still. We crossed 12 years ago.
Damn, it's been 12 years.
And we are old.
We old.
Okay, hot take. Greek life is bad. A bad influence.
Everything can be a bad influence, especially now with social media. I see kids who watch social media people like drink whole pre-workouts. Like they take the whole bottle of pre-workout, they put it in a jug and they drink the whole thing. That's like a bajillion amount of caffeine. That's a bad influence. Watching that is a bad influence. Now, to me, it's like just whatever old movies talking about Greek life, keg stands, drinking, hazing, Are there Greek organizations that do it? Yeah, there probably are still, but it's not every Greek organization. There are good ones, a lot of good ones out there, including R2.
And a lot of people look at all the bad things about Greek life, but they never look at like all the good things about Greek life too, and how much can come out of it, how much we raise awareness, money, and all that for certain things, and the personal development and leadership that we have as well. See how they always like focus on the bad, but they're not focusing on the good.
Yeah, a lot of times it's definitely really prevalent now. You just focus on things that are attention grabbers. Greek life party goes wrong. Mm-hmm. Someone dies of alcohol poisoning. Mm-hmm. Kid gets hazed. Hang your friends. Oh, you gotta pay dues. Or, oh man, these guys in a fraternity or girls in sorority, they're so stuck up. Or blah blah blah. This, but yeah, what Melly said is like no one talks about what organizations do for their communities. But yeah, don't let that kind of negativity sway you. Really do your research, like Melly said. Get the vibes by hanging out with the people during recruitment, and then just really picture yourself and see if what they have to offer can make you a better person, and if you can make them a better organization.
With that being said, go Greek. Why don't you wrap it up for us, P bro?
All right, pieces. Thank you for listening to us today. Episode Julio Jones.
Our social media is at Relationship Goals Podcast. Tag us in your photos of you listening.
I hope you enjoyed it and learned something from it. Or just if you are part of our Greek organization, reminisce about those times of recruitment.
Yeah, come join our podcast and let's talk stories.
Oh, good stories though,
Stories that we could tell.
Yes. Thank you again for listening to us and supporting us. Catch us on the next episode.
We're throwing up our Greek orc signs right now.
Yeah.
Okay, catch you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.